Hey guys, welcome back to AIR Reptile Rescue. As you guys can see, I don't have any of the reptiles out tonight. We have Ruru who's begging for attention, so we'll have him with us in the video tonight. Until he decides to jump down again. But today we're going to talk about proper feeding and rest period for your corn snake. As we discussed before in the ball python series, there's two options for feeding. There's frozen, thawed, and live. We'll get into that in a minute. But for those of you who missed that video, we're going to discuss the difference between the two options, and I'll also mention on why I choose one over the other. With your snake, with a corn snake, it's basically almost the same with your corn snake as it is with your ball python. Their diet mostly in captivity is mice, not rats. There is a way of telling what size rat you can present to your corn snake depending on the size of mouse that you use. But whenever you're feeding your snake, you want to get a prey that is about 10 to 15% its body's weight. If you don't know the body weight of your snake, then make sure that you look at the midsection of the body, like the very middle of their body, and make sure that the prey is no bigger than 1 to 1.5 times that size, which is basically the thickness right in the center of their body. That will be the best prey for them. I usually go to the 1.5 times whenever I don't have the weight of an animal. Luckily with my snakes, I know their weight, so I can usually gauge what weight I need for their prey. Which usually ranges 10 to 15%. So say like with Patty, she's 200 grams, which is my ball python. She's a little bit over 200 grams, so I'm usually feeding about 20 grams to 25 grams, which is about 10 to 15% of her body weight. Next, we're going to discuss how to properly feed the frozen thawed. For any of my new viewers, if you haven't seen the video on feeding ball python, the one thing that you want to remember if you're a brand new handler, you've never handled feeding your snakes before, I don't recommend hand feeding. I do hand feeding in my videos to show you what it's like, and because I have the experience in doing it. But what I recommend for new handlers is get what's called a pair of tongs. They're about this long. They're metal, so do remember, if you get a pair, make sure they have the rubber tips on them, on the end that you can grab the prey with. Because if your snake bites down and they're all metal, it could damage their teeth and hurt them. But if it's got the rubber tips, they make it just for that reason, just in case your snake does bite down and hits the tongs, it's not going to hurt them as badly. It can still damage their teeth, but it's not going to be like the metal would. Now, whenever you're doing that and you present the frozen thawed to them, grab it with the tongs by the tail or the middle of the back and present it to your snake. Whenever you do, I usually recommend to basically wiggle it around, make it seem like the mouse is alive and trying to get away because it knows it's about to be eaten, and the snake feels like it's hunting its prey. Like it's got to basically go after it and
Rex, leave her alone.
try to kill its prey.
Rex, leave her alone.
Sorry, Rex is over there aggravating our cat right now, who's in labor. So, next thing I'm going to talk about is there's one thing about it whenever you do frozen thawed. Not all snakes are going to take frozen thawed. Some of them, from hatchling all the way up to adulthood, have been fed live, so it's going to be almost impossible to feed them frozen thawed. Yes, there's a way of converting them. It's not an easy process because it takes a little while to get them to actually eat frozen thawed. But whenever you're feeding live, please remember there's always chance of injury to your snake. Because of the fact that it is a live rodent. It can bite, it will scratch, it will bite, because it's trying to get away from your snake, who's its predator. With Xena, our other ball python that we have here, we feed her live because it's all she eats. She was bitten one day while eating. Made sure she wasn't injured too bad. Made sure she didn't need treatment or something for it. If they are injured during feeding, then properly treat it. Treat the wound. One of the things, like I mentioned, I'm going to discuss why I choose one over the other. With frozen thawed, they're previously killed. The mouse or rat is humanely euthanized. And whenever they're frozen to preserve the body, and they're not like they're tortured before they're killed. Now, with a live rodent, like I said, you have that chance of injury. I've had people that I've seen post. I've had people that I've known that have fed live, and their snake was sitting there eating, or had wrapped the prey up, and the prey has either bit them really bad or has scratched them in the face or in the eye, and the snake is now completely blind because of the injury. So keep that in mind. That's why I don't recommend live feeding, because of the risk that you're taking to the injury of your snake. I would rather frozen thawed over anything. The last thing we're going to talk about is allow your snake that rest period. Allow them to rest the 48 to 72 hours. That gives them enough time to digest their food and properly process it and get the nutrients out of it. If you do it too soon, your snake can regurgitate, and with their teeth facing backwards, if they're throwing up, it's coming back out, which means that it can get caught on their teeth coming back out and damage their teeth, which will make them not want to eat. So give them that 48 to 72 hours to rest. If you have any questions or comments, guys, leave them down below in the comment section or on my Facebook page at AIR Reptile Rescue. No question is a dumb question. I'll answer everything. If I don't know the answer, I'll personally research it and give you the proper answers. To anybody out there wanting to sponsor, like any big companies, message me, let me know. We'll talk about how to do that. I don't know the full process of what it takes for getting a sponsor, but we would appreciate your support. Zilla, Exoterra, ZooMed, and Thrive. You guys are companies I use the most of for my enclosures and substrates and stuff like that. So if you guys are out there and you see this, I'd love y'all's sponsorships, because I always try to promote y'all's stuff. Neosporin, peroxide makers, I use that a lot for my animals, for their treatment of wounds or anything. So if you guys are out there, y'all want to sponsor, get with me. Anybody wants to make donations, message me on Facebook. We'll talk about how to get donations to me. But we're going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you guys so much for your support from all of us here at AIR. Like and subscribe our page, and hit that bell notification. Click all. Every time I post a video, you get another notification that I posted something. So thank you so much. We love you guys for y'all's support. We appreciate it so much. And if you know of anybody out there that has a company that wants to sponsor us, give them the word. Let them know we're here, and we could use the sponsorship. Thanks again, guys. God bless y'all from Louisiana. Let me go check on my babies, make sure they're warm and happy. And we'll see you guys next time in the next series, which is the Pac-Man Frog.